All right, guys. I just got done watching, like maybe less than 5 minutes ago, Netflix's version of Pop the Balloon Live. And I just wanted to get up on here and share with you guys my perspective. Initially, hearing that it was live, I said to myself, this is going to be a much different show than what we watch up on Arlette on YouTube, her version, and I was damn right. Now, if you all watch all of my comments in regards to this, if you want the TLDR, the too long didn't read, Arlette's version is better for a variety of reasons, and a lot of those reasons we're going to go through within the confines of this video right here. But again, I wanted to give you guys my initial thoughts. I took some notes down up on here, so we're going to see how closely we're going to follow the notes and some of the things that I wanted to say. All right. Now, also, I'm going to go through some of the still frames of the entire show just so you can get kind of an idea. However, I would suggest that you watch the entire thing so that you can get the full perspective of the show. Come up on here and then share your comments in regards to the things that I'm saying and the things that you're seeing within this show. All right. But I want to spoil it for too much. Okay. Now, here's the first thing that I want to say before we get started. Take a look at that panel of women, baby. Jesus. We got some pressure. Okay, so let me just get into this. I think the awesome thing that I like about Arlette and BM's version of the show is that it feels authentic as shit, right? You look at some of the contestants, you look at some of the outfits that they're wearing, you say to yourself, yo, I know that person. Right? Right. I got a buddy that looks like that. Right. I used to date a girl that looks like that. It feels authentic. It doesn't feel rehearsed. It doesn't feel overly produced, but it's produced well enough to get them a Netflix show. So it's well produced, but it's not overly produced. It's not overly perfect. This shit, at least the way that episode 1 went, it's overly produced, in my opinion. Now, I'm not complaining because I love to see a panel of fantastically well-shapen, ain't no big backs over here, baby. All right. But then at the same junction, it's, you get the feeling that it's like actresses and actors. It's women that's in LA, they're trying to make it, they hit up a casting call, and then it makes you think like, are they really here to date? Are they really here to find love? Okay, well, let's just go through real quick some of the women that are down up in here. So from left to right, you can already see it looks like the damn United Nations, and that probably also speaks to the type of people that are watching the Netflix show. They just want a broad swath. They want everyone, so they want everyone to feel represented. All right, but we got Mrs. I believe she's from Colombia or something that's down up over here looking fantastic. You got Milk of Magnesia, #1 down up on here, who obviously does squats on her off time. You have the Blasian, all right? A little bit of Earth's nectar for you. You have the straight up Asian. I will say, when she first started to talk, I said to myself, whose voice is that? How she sounds and how she looks does not match, all right? Let's keep moving and we're going to get back to the host. Yeah, Milk of Magnesia, #2. Looking fantastic, baby girl. You have the FBA, right? You got the standard issue. Now, I will say, I'm going in on her a lot right now, but you got to be able to watch the show. She had like odd jokes for all of the dudes that came up to the point of cringe, to the point it was a little bit too much. And I know I'm a little bit of a hypocrite in saying that because oftentimes I do a lot when I'm doing my review, but it's a review, baby. It's different than when you up on live stage saying that you're trying to actively date people. Like, to be actively rude in someone's face, it's just a little bit different. Nevertheless, though, let's keep going down the line. I don't really remember this one, to be honest. And then you had little old Miss Lingerie Brazil over here on the right, who I believe was a model. Beautiful young women, but the star of the show, and I don't know right now if I'm saying star of the show from a positive perspective or a negative perspective, was Yvonne. Now, from a Hollywood actress facilitation perspective, I think that she did a great job, okay? Now, for a Pop the Balloon host, it's kind of over the top, at least initially. Again, what I like about Pop the Balloon on Arlette's channel is that you feel like you know all of the people. You feel like you know Arlette. You feel like you know BM. All right. Her, it's a lot of like, I don't know if she's a stand-up comedian or I don't know, but she's very showy. All right. On Arlette's version, Arlette's there, and yes, she's the star of the show. She's heavily recognizable, but she's there, but she doesn't steal the shine. Does that make sense? It's a good balance between asking questions, her facial expressions, but she's not trying to like be in the show. Yvonne is trying to be in the show. Right? In fact, I would say she probably had the most amount of speaking time of anybody that was up there. Now, before we get in a couple of the quick frames, here's some questions that I just want to ask. Whose idea was this to be live? Huh? Why? I think they need to take that back to the drawing board, baby. I know it's in like the title of the Netflix shit, but I think they need to take it back to the drawing board. I don't see what benefit of this being live has. There's not a live studio audience. I didn't hear any laugh tracks. It sounded like everybody who was laughing was actually in the production, like in the camera lens, right? There's not like real life audience participation where like I can't text on some American Idol shit in order to participate within the... So why is this live? Whose decision was this? This must have been a Netflix decision because I can't see how even Arlette and BM would want this to be live, but it's live. Also, they don't pop the Instagrams up on the screen. They say their names and sort of like what they do for a living. So I'm sure that you can find them via Google search, but they don't advertise any social media. There was actually one guy up on there that yelled out his social media handle, but no one else did that. I also get the feeling, and I could be wrong on this, is that these dating shows up on Netflix, they have majority female audiences. I would not be surprised if it'll be panels of women the entirety of the live show. I doubt that there's going to be panels of men, because if it's panels of women, it gives the women the opportunity to just assess the one guy that's coming out who has to get assessed, right? Like you're picking that person apart, which probably is going to feel a lot better for a majority women audience than if there's a whole bunch of guys that are up there. Again, I don't know, but that's going to be my guess. The last thing I'll mention before we go through some of the frames is that the show was very loud. Does that make sense? Like there's a lot of voices, right? The pops are loud. It's just loud. It's almost like a earache it was giving me. It's just a lot of things that's going on. Again, that kind of speaks to a lot of the overproduction. But you know, when you watch the Arlette and BM version, it's kind of serene, right? Like you could have it playing in the background. You could kind of listen to it. This, because of it's so much going on, it's like you have to look at it to understand what is happening at any given time. Anyway, let's start out on some of these stills real quick. So the show started off, which I thought was dope, which is an ode to the creators that really blew up Pop the Balloon in the States, Arlette and BM. Arlette comes out and she's like, "You ready, girl?" to Yvonne, who's the host, and you know, is getting her ready. And then BM comes out and hands her a balloon. I thought it was cool, all right? It was like a changing of the guard, if you will, okay? And then, you know, Yvonne comes out, they start introducing the people. This was the first guy that came out. I don't really even remember him, besides him being exceptionally eccentric to damn near just annoying as shit. None of the women liked him. They all popped on him fairly quickly as he made odd jokes. Moving on, the second brother that came out, I believe he was an entrepreneur, smooth dressed, smooth talking. The issue was his height. You guessed it. It's hilarious that from Pop the Balloon to Pop the Balloon versions all the way up to the Netflix version, you still get these modern ass women pops, right? This chick right here, again, making jokes for no goddamn reason, just for the sake of just being mean, was talking about the brother's hairline. He got a normal ass, grown ass man hairline, and she's making these jokes and they're all kind of laughing at it. She's like, "Oh, the hairline's back here." Meanwhile, your back is the biggest one up here of them all, baby girl. You better relax. You go on Arlette's Pop the Balloon. I get to review that one. I am scorching you, all right? But yeah, unnecessary, just being mean for the sake of being mean, and I guess they just call that entertainment. Nevertheless, though, so eventually they all pop, and then this brother gets sent home. There's another interesting thing, too, which is something I think that the Arlette's version of Pop the Balloon should incorporate, which is interviews in between the middle of the rounds when they're going on to the next contestant. I'd love to be able to hear people's perspectives at the end of the round, depending upon what happened. That's definitely something that they should put up into the scenario. Now, the next brother that came out, this brother right here, I believe he said he's a boxer. This brother was doing exceptionally well. Like nobody popped on him initially. He kept on talking. Now, what's interesting about his appearance is that Milk of Magnesia, number 2, popped on him initially because they already know each other, whatever that means. So they're friends, like a brother that they said, or something like that. Anyway, so where it started to go very bad for this brother is, oh yeah, that's another thing. I thought him and Mrs. Brazil in lingerie were, if we were doing the live show, I'd be doing push-ups at the end of this. I thought it was really gonna be a pick. And then he hit them with an interesting question. Here we go. It was Lingerie Brazil and Milk of Magnesia, number 3, up there battling off of my man right here in the middle. And here's where my brother messed up. If you want to say they messed up. He asked him a question like, have you ever been flown out to Dubai or Miami? Now, we up here, we know why he's asking that, right? He's trying to understand unto which degree of thought modern women are ya. He popped the one on the left, but then the one on the right popped immediately right after, just because they didn't like the question. And here's the thing. This is why I thought, and when I said a second ago, that I think that this would just be a panel of women every single time. Because when you have men up there speaking truthfully about what it is that they like or their criteria for judging women, women don't like none of that shit, right? So I see the ratings dropping. The more brothers with his type of ideologies get up there and ask these very real ass questions in order to weed out the bullshit. But let's keep on keeping on in the content. You can see he was the longest out there. That's another thing as well that's different than Arlette's version is that they had the stagehand crew in between the rounds, which I guess makes sense because it's a live show, that is like coming out, cleaning out all the balloons, bringing the red balloons back out, handing them to each one of the contestants. But it's not like they would try to cut away. They would just keep it on the center stage. It's almost like the stagehand crew is a part of the show. Okay. Yeah. So then the brother comes out and he starts speaking about his experience. The girls are laughing and joking. This guy came out and is like 4 pops initially. I believe he was like 24 years old. And he says something like, I don't want no chick over 30 years old. And then that was it. That was a wrap for him. I think this guy had the shortest time up here. That was it. And honestly, he seemed very dismayed, but I mean, he's 24. And I would say the average age of most of the women up there was around 28, 29 or something like that. So I'm not sure exactly what he expected, but he probably didn't know that when he said it. Nevertheless, so his round ended exceptionally quick. Now this guy came out and to be honest, I'm surprised that he remained as long as he did. And in fact, I think this screen right here pretty much summarizes the weirdness that was exhibited when he came out. I don't know who was in their casting department, who thought that he was a good representation, but the brother was awkward. You ever just watch someone in their mannerisms and you say to yourself, they did meth before. You know what I mean? They've definitely smoked the crack pipe. He's definitely hit one too many bongs, ripped one too many bongs throughout his life. And he was like doing odd fidgety shit with his hands and his neck. Like how you looking at someone in your neck? I can't even do the neck muscle thing that he's doing right now. But yeah, it's odd. He had odd mannerisms. And I thought the women were just going to start popping left and right, but they kept him for a decent amount of time. Anyway, so then it goes on and it came down to, I think, the 2 coldest ones, all right? Milk of Magnesia, number 2, who is my favorite Milk of Magnesia up on there. And Lingerie Brazilian. Okay. And my man popped on her on the left because she's not a fan of curry, which is something that he likes to eat. And then it was down to these 2. Oh, by the way, this is also something that's new within this production is this love lounge. So everybody who gets popped, they all go sit down in a lounge. And I guess somehow they're just still a part of the show. You can't hear them. You can just see them just like all talking to each other. I don't know why they would want to include this, especially if we can't hear them talking shit in the back, but it's a part of it. And inevitably,
I like hanging out with my friend.
She popped on him. You can see the look on his face right over here. He was extremely butthurt. I'll leave it to you guys to see why that she popped on him. I want you guys to go take a look at the show because I want to have conversations with you guys who have watched the show. All right, I want to see what you guys say. And then they ended it off. And it was like a little dance party celebration. And that was it. Oh yeah, also, this was the very last screen, which is a screen that I don't think anybody has seen, BM and AM Entertainment. Apparently they've logoed, I don't know, they started a new LLC, which they probably did from an entity protection perspective. That would make a lot of sense for them to start a new business tied to Pop the Balloon so it doesn't interfere with the things that they have going on from a tax revenue perspective on their YouTube channel. So again, shout out to them. Long story short, congratulations again on getting the Netflix deal. I still rock with the YouTube version more, and my short conclusion of that, my short summary of that is that it just feels more natural. This feels very produced. And I think that it's almost ironic that a live show feels more produced than something that's up on YouTube that has cuts and edits and things like that. But there's a budgetary difference. That just is what it is. Nevertheless, that's my opinion. I want to hear from you guys as well. Go up and watch the show. Did you notice anything else that happened down up in there? Let me know. Write that comment down below, and I will see you guys soon. Until next time, YouTube. Peace.
She belongs to the street.
Girl, don't hold my hand. You a mattress actress on the OnlyFans. Get your money, girl, but damn, how is that your only plan? What you gonna do when you get too old to strip and dance? Get up out your echo chamber, screaming period and yes. You a low down dirty woman if you try to get knocked up by a high value man.